So hi everybody. Um, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you're joining me from. Okay. Yeah. So remember, I told you guys in the morning that I'll keep you updated. Okay. Knowing fully well that Tuesday is our entry. Okay, for the week. So remember, I told you guys we are only taking one trade for the week, and remember I told you earlier that we will be buying our weekly entry from this point, and you could see how price came back into that point. Okay, this is Tuesday. Remember, we take our trades during the late New York session. This was the New York session for today. Okay, uh, and then we're taking our trades. We took our trade by 7 o'clock, okay, 7 p.m. Nigerian time. Okay, you can convert it to whatever time it is in your country. Okay, so we want to look at our weekly target. All right, so if this is our entry, you could see how price came right into it, and I told you guys earlier that I took a sell from this point earlier on during the New York session. You could see during the New York session, as soon as I saw price right into this region right here, okay, I knew that price, this order block, this bearish order block, I knew that price was going to sell into my region, into this key region which I was looking toward to buy for the week. Okay, so I will show you guys why I bought, why I was looking at this target to buy from this target. Okay, now the reason is because we have seen see the market opened here, remember, sold off to this region. Okay, so this becomes our low, our previous day low. Okay, so during the London session we saw that price came back and swept the low right here. Okay, it swept the low, the low of our previous day low. Okay, has been swept right here. All right, so immediately I saw that sweep of liquidity right here. You could see that the low here we have 100.064, and here we have 100.050. Okay, so that indicates that this low here has been swept out. Okay, so price now retraced back into a premium region, this other block which I marked here. Immediately I saw this rejection, I knew, and it was during the New York session, so it was a reason for me to scalp. Okay, I scalped using the scalping account. Okay, so I have different accounts for different purposes. That's how a professional trader is supposed to be. Okay, the fact that we are taking one trade doesn't really mean you must for that same account you must stick to that one trade in a week, and the same strategy, okay, is what you use for that account. We don't use another strategy for our swing trading account. Okay, however, I have a separate account which I use for scalping. Okay, so the scalping account was what the account I used to take this trade, this sell into this region, knowing fully well that it's going to retest back into this region. Okay, so that we will have our entry for the week. All right, that's on dollar index. So, and our target for the week for dollar index is our first target is all of this low resistance liquidity, all of this pool of liquidity. Okay, that will be our first target, this high here. Then when you put your Fibonacci retracement tool from this low to this high, you discover that this is your equilibrium, right? So, and you could see that it's also align with the fair value gap. So this will be our second target, the equilibrium here. Then here, okay, this is the OTE region, 62 region. Okay, price may want to bounce back before pushing up to higher prices. Okay, so this will be our next draw on liquidity. So for me, if you ask me, this is a very realistic point to target price. Why? Okay, ultimately for the week, this is our draw on liquidity. This is where we'll be targeting. Okay, there's a tiny fair value gap right above, right here. If you look closely, you see that there's a fair value gap, a very tiny one for that matter, right above this liquidity pool right here, this high here. Okay, this previous week high here. Okay, that is where we are targeting to see price get into. Okay, so all of these are the target areas we are looking to see price get to. Okay, that's our weekly target. Okay, overall, but then we want to target a realistic point first, and this will be our realistic point of target first. Why? Because we have something called the IOFED here. We have a fair value gap here in a fair value gap, and it lies in between what, a high, a previous high right here. Okay, so this is a very sensitive point. It's an institutional reference point which we would like to see the institution drive price into it. Okay, so if we are targeting, this will be our major realistic target for the week. So if price extend moves, we see volume that moves, okay, ahead, so we want to take our partials here, okay, and hold the rest of the position to the all-time high. Okay, so let's see how price is going to play out. Meanwhile, we are already in this trade. Okay, so I'm saying that DXY is just seeking to clear out this double bottom right before it forms reversal, okay, to the real direction for the week. So remember, whatever we do on dollar index, we'll be doing the opposite on the Euro USD, GBP USD, and all other US dollar correlated pairs. Okay, so that is exactly what we'll be doing. So this is the Euro USD. Remember, I told you guys, just as we sold into that region which we bought on the DXY, that is how we bought also here using the scalping account into our entry. You could see the entry I marked earlier, right? That this was my first entry. See that I enter here on this liquidity, or when this liquidity is swept, or when this liquidity is swept. So we could see that the first liquidity has been swept, and we've taken our entry right here. We are risking 23 pips, 23.6 pips, of which, if you calculate that, depending on the lot size you're using, okay, so you can calculate that. For me, I'm using 0.15 on a 1000 USD account size. So if we are doing this 0.23, okay, then okay, 23.6 is what we are risking. You can see it here, up here, 23.6. So you can go to my FX book, 23.6, and then you calculate. Make sure here you have Euro USD, okay, and then here is on US dollar. This is your lot size. Put your lot size value here, and then the pips value, the distance of the pips here, that's 23.6. Then you click on calculate. So if we lose that trade, we'll be losing $35.4. Okay, so let's look at it. If the trade goes in our favor, we'll profit about 69.8 pips, 69.8 pips, 69.8 pips. So let's do the calculation. Click on calculate, and we'll have $104.7. That's approximately $105. Okay, so you could see that it's about 2.96 risk to reward ratio, which means we are risking 1% to catch about three, approximately three risk to reward ratio. It's one of three. Okay, 1:3 for the week. All right, that's a very good risk to reward ratio. So it's possible that price may form reversal here after the sweep. Okay, so this is our basic entry for the week this Tuesday. So let's see how it goes. And price may likely want to come up here and violate this high, this uh, uh, point of liquidity here, which might be our entry too. Okay, but let's see how what price is going to do. But we have entered for the week. So guys, I wish you all good trading. Okay, so the good part with entering the system is when you take this one trade for the week, you are good. Okay, you just position yourself and let it run. Okay, that's the good part. And you could see how I calculated my entry. Okay, it's a calculated entry, so even if you lose, your emotion is not attached to the trade, because before you enter, you already calculated and you know what you are risking, okay, over what you are targeting. Okay, so that's how you want to trade as a professional forex trader. Okay, so that you don't get yourself in a very tight corner where your emotions, fear, okay, fear of missing out and other things, fear of losing and other things will be attached to your trading decisions. Okay, so for me, I'm cool. If this trade goes in our direction, fine. If it doesn't, fine. All I know is I've seen all my signature, I've seen all that I need to enter this trade, and I have what executed. Okay, and it's even possible that price may even come as far as this high. Okay, even as far as clearing this high before it begins to go down, begins to sell. So let's see how the week is going to play out. Let's see how price is going to play out. Okay, so I'll keep you updated tomorrow. If it goes in our direction, I'll update you. If it goes against us, I'll still update you guys. All right, so that's trade for you, that's trading for you. But what keeps you profitable in the game is your proper risk to risk management, okay, and your risk to reward ratio. So risk management, proper risk management is what keeps you in the game. Okay, so now that we are selling Euro USD, let's look at where will be our realistic target. Our realistic target is first, all of this liquidity, low resistance liquidity below this uh, opposite this inequality, all of this lows, okay, will be our target. This will be our first target below here. This will be our second target. Okay, this is a very high probability and realistic region. Why? Because we have a fair value gap right below this pool of liquidity. Okay, and when you have that, most times it appears to be a very high point of reference or interest for the institutions to drive price into. So if you ask me, I would say this would be a realistic target, first target. Okay, so if you put your Fibonacci tool, you discover that this is equilibrium, this point which I marked equi here. Okay, so that is also a realistic region. Price may want to come into it, slide into it. Why? Because it also has a fair value gap below it, and in this fair value gap, in fact, this is even higher objective than this first point. Why? Because this has an order block, and this order block is very valid, because this was the order block that sponsored this institutional signature, this void, this one side movement, okay, that triggered this break of structure here, this break of this high here. Okay, so it's a valid point for me to see price retest or reverse back into it, and it confluenced with the equilibrium. Okay, so it's a high point for me, which is a realistic point for us to target our take profit this week. Okay, all right, so that is basically it. And I see another point to refer to right here. We have an IOFED. Okay, this is an IOFED, is a type of an IOFED right here. Okay, so it's also an objective to see price drive into it, but we want to target our realistic targets first, then see what price we do in the long run. Okay, if it gets to a very reasonable point, okay, then we are able to, we will break even. Okay, maybe take partials and then let the rest of the position run down into the ultimate objective for the week. Okay, so that's my projection for the week. Let's keep our fingers crossed and see what price is going to deliver. Okay, so thank you so much for joining, and please, if you have questions, you can drop in the comment section, and don't forget to like this content. Okay, don't forget to like this content and also share with other people so that we can profit together on the chat, guys. Okay, you could see today we took a very clean 44 pips. That was very sweet ride into that point. Okay, so I'll keep you updated, and I'll be giving you more insightful updates and forecast, okay, as to what the market is doing or is going to do, so that you'll be able to position yourself strategically, and then in line with what the institutions are doing, so that you can profit from the market. Okay, because you want to look at the market from the standpoint of the institutions, not the retailers. All right, so thank you so much for joining. Thank you, cheers, and God bless you. See you tomorrow for another wonderful analysis. Okay, cheers, and God bless you.